I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. Your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television locally in North Alabama, channel 182 on Charter Communications. You can also find us worldwide, and that's on Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching. We're going to do something just a little bit different. You know, we like to have a variety of shows for you. And one of these is going to be about jewelry making. And this is how you can find findings on in any thrift store you go to. Locally, I love going to Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop. They're located on Highway 431 in Albertville. But now you can find items all over the place. So in your town, anywhere, Alabama, or anywhere across the United States, you're going to be able to find an awesome thrift store. And that's where you can repurpose things. So sometimes people just get rid of stuff, you know, because it's just not in style anymore. Maybe it was their grandmother's and they just really don't care for that particular style. But you can get it and you can repurpose it. And I'll be showing you something a little bit later. This is a necklace I found at Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop. Gave a couple of dollars for it. And to me, it's pretty as it is. But it's a little bit dated. So I'm just going to show you how you can get this and turn this into earrings. You can also turn this into a bracelet of some sort. I think that would be pretty on some leather. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? But before we get started, I promised you I was going to show you how to do some metalworking, some simple metalworking. And you can make your own designs, just come up with anything you'd like. Now it's going to be a little loud because I'm going to be beading just a little bit using this tool right here. And this thing right here is heavy. It doesn't look like it. It's only about 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. But this thing makes some gorgeous jewelry. And I've sold a lot of it, made it myself. You can use simple copper pieces like this, and I did want to show you, you can do a little patina, and there are different ways you can do that. Like if you wanted to have a little bit of just, you know, whatever look, you can do patina by using just some simple potato chips. I know it sounds really weird, but let's say you have some stale potato chips. You're not going to eat them, but you don't want to throw them away. All you've got to do is just get a clean piece, and make sure it's clean, a clean piece of copper, sheet copper, and you can cut it into small pieces or whatever you want to do, and just throw it in the potato chips. You put a little salt, more salt on it, and then let it stay overnight. You wake up in the morning and you're going to be amazed at the beautiful designs you're going to see that nature just makes. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So I did go ahead, I found this piece of copper, and I really do like this. This is a sheet copper right here. Now see how it moves and how it bends? I'm going to show you how to work harden it. Okay, so it'll be a beautiful design piece that you can wear anywhere. Now, what I like to do, I want this two sizes to be the same, okay? So I'm going to get my cutters. These are 10 snips right here. You can see I've just about worn them out, but I love these. It's one of my favorite tools I have. I would take you in a workshop, but the problem with the lighting and everything, couldn't just get you to see it as it is. Now what I'm going to do is put this piece I have already cut, okay, and I'll go ahead and line it up with this piece. That way I'm going to have a matching piece. Now make sure you get these good 10 snips, okay? Get some good ones. These are made by Stanley, and I've had these for several years. Okay, I'm going to line it up, and I'm just going to snip it. It's that easy, okay? And I'm going to use that for something else. Now that would make a pretty, because it's almost the same shape, and this would make a really pretty necklace. As a matter of fact, we'll do that. We'll just make a necklace out of that piece. Okay, now, I have already cut a hole, and I'm going to show you. Now, I do have a press, and it's a nail press, and it does holes. It does all kinds of great things that I need it to do. But I'm going to show you how to do it without that piece of equipment. I've got a couple issues or ideas for you. Now, I found this at a craft store, and this is really neat. And there are two sizes. This would make a much bigger hole, and I want that one. I want the smaller hole. this size right here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to align it with this one. Okay, because I want those to be the same exact size. Now, I say this is not exactly the same size. I'm going to have to trim this one just a little bit. Let's make sure I got the right. Yeah, I did. Got the right one. So let me go ahead and snip it just a little bit more. And I'm just telling you, with handcrafting items, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, that's the whole idea about the artesian look. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut it just a little bit more. Okay, now they're the same size. Now, I don't throw anything away. Let me show you what I can do. See this little tiny, tiny scrap piece right here? I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so I can go ahead and get a tool like this. Now, this is what I do earring loops with, and you can find these at any craft store. I can get this and make a little swirly cut, kind of like that. And I can just make it whatever I want it to be. I can turn it the other way. I can make all kinds of little squiggly things on it. And I can make a pair of earrings just out of this. All kinds of things you can do. Just use your imagination. There's no right or wrong way to do it. As a matter of fact, one thing I could do, I'll go ahead and turn it again like so. And I can just come up with a little squiggly piece and put it on something like this. This is a necklace I made right here. And this is just a found piece of metal. I found it out at the barn. And I could just put it on this. You know, I mean, there's so many, just use your imagination. There are so many things you can do. And just, it's you, okay? It's something that you put together. And it's all about that, okay? You don't want to be a copy like everybody else. You know, you want it to be a little different. Now, let's go ahead and make a hole in this one. So I'll go ahead and again, the small part, this makes the small hole, this makes the large hole. But what I want to do, I'm not necessarily making a hole, I'm going to make an indentation. Okay, and I've got to make sure I can see it from the side. I'll go ahead and twist this. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. I hope you can. I hope it's lookable, that you can see. And I'm just making an indentation. Now what this indentation is going to do is make it easier for me to make a hole. Okay, so get that out of the way. And I love this tool right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's and you can also make this bigger, you can make it smaller, you can make it longer, you can make it shorter. And so if you can see this part right here, this made a little indentation. Okay, now I'll go ahead and put this inside the indentation, and I'm going to press down on it, and I'm going to just move it. And this is going to make a hole in the metal. And this is the hole we're going to have for the earrings. Okay? Don't you just love art? And this, again, this is just something you made. All right. Now, if you have a drill press, and see there, you can see the little hole right there. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you. This is something, now see, this has been work hardened right here. I don't know if you can see the little indentions or not, but there are indentions, and you can see it's been metal worked. And when you do that, and it makes it just really cute little indentions. And so here we go. This is my hammer. Now I can use just the smooth part of this hammer right here. You can take it out and you can have all kinds of different looks to it. You can do it just this way to work harden it. But I want to put some holes, not holes, but I just want to put some indentions in it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, right here you can see it's smooth. It came off of this piece right here. All right, so I'm going to put texture on it. Now it's going to be loud, okay? But I do have it on a mat right here, so it'll be putting it on this part right here. And again, we're making a little indentation. I love the way this looks. And there's no right and no wrong way to do it. And this thing is gorgeous. And there we go. And that's all it takes. It's just a few little knocks. this hammer. Now I'm going to get this and move the camera down just a smidgen so you can see what I'm doing, okay? There we go. That'll be a little easier for you to see. All right, so I've got it on the work hardening it. And I'm going to turn it over because I want it to be that the same texture, just different textures on it. Okay, now I don't know if you can see this or not, and it's right here, and there are little jagged edges, and that came from the cutters, okay? But I like that look. But now if you don't like that look, I'll show you something else you can do. The smooth part, and you can use any hammer you want to use, so the smooth part of that hammer, all you've got to do is go right along the edges. Okay? Right along the edges. And when you're doing that, you're also work hardening it. Okay? I'll turn it back over and do it on the other side. And you're going to have a unique piece of jewelry. No one else has anything like this. Okay. Now, another thing you can do, if it's just a little sharper than you want it to be right here, all you've got to do is get a file. And this is this no file that I've had for years. And so go one way, okay? I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not, but you can just go one way. And it also is going to kind of round the edges like that. So see this part right here is just kind of a, and you might want to do this for if you're selling these especially. So, you know, if you're selling it to somebody, it's not going to snag on their clothes or in their hair. And so I'm just going to go around to all corners, all four corners, and see it makes it super smooth. Okay, and again, just go, don't do back and forth this way, just one way, okay? All right, and then we'll go to this side. Okay. And to this side. It only takes a few little strokes. And I'm done with that one. Okay. All right. Now, how do I turn this into a pair of earrings? Okay, now I like to use either stainless steel. That way if you have people with sensitive ears, they're going to be able to wear these earrings. Or I do sterling silver. And either way works. So what I'm going to do, see I have these pliers. These are some of my go-to pliers right here. Now they're smooth. Now there are other, see I'm not going to use these because these have a little ridge right here. And I don't want that ridge. So what I'm going to do is just turn this back. Now you never go this way. Don't pull it this way when you're doing your earrings. It needs to always be pulled to the side. Okay, like that. All right. So let's go ahead and put this in here. And it says a little ball on there. I want that to stay. Okay. I'll just put it right there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it back together again. And you are going to have a pair of earrings. And that's all it takes. You can find things at the thrift store. I have found lots of really pretty medals at the thrift store. Okay, there you go. There's an earring right there. And it's beautiful. See, it has that hammered look to it. It's just gorgeous. Now, let's just say that you would like to add maybe a cross on it. Okay, that would be pretty. See, like so. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that. All right, I'm going to do it with this one because this one is not hammered. Okay, but let's just do another one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one almost the same thing, but I'm going to cut it a little wider. Okay, and I'm going to cut kind of at a diagonal when I cut this one. Okay, all right, and I'm going to turn it this way because I want another one the same size, the same everything. Okay. And these are easy to do, like Christmas time or somebody's birthday or something, and they have said, oh, I would like for you just to make me something. You can make somebody something, and I'll tell you they'll treasure it. If it's something that you've made and something you have just spent a little time making, they're going to love it even much more. Okay, now I don't know that it quite matches, but let me go ahead and cut this one down just a bit, because see, it's not quite the same. Okay, I'll turn this thing around like that. It's not exactly the same, so I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to kind of eyeball it, and here we go. And again, don't throw that scrap copper away, because you can use that on other designs. Okay, so I'll take that out. And here we go. I'm watching Simpson, looking to see what time it is, because I know that sometimes I just start talking to you and I just forget I'm on Earth. Okay, there we go. I wasn't holding it really good. There we go. Now I've got another piece right there. But what I want to do this time, I'm not going to harden it. I mean, I'm not going to put any indentions in it. I just want to put this cross on it. Okay? And you could, and it would be gorgeous. Now, the first thing I want to do, remember, is smooth off these corners, because that could catch on somebody's sweater. You know, it could scratch them, and you just want to make sure that that's not going to happen. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and make it look really pretty. Now, I'm going to go, since I did not work harden it by hammering it, I'm going to go on ahead and do all corners, okay? And all this is working metals. Now this is a very, very basic metal working. Okay. Again, don't go, it's not a saw. So what you want to do is just one way, okay? All right, there we go again. All right. I think that'll do the work. Now, let's see what happens. Sometimes this, and I'll open that up. Sometimes you have to kind of, yeah, let this screw out, and I'm going to push that in, and then we'll tighten it again. Okay, because sometimes it just kind of jumps, and I'm looking just to make sure that I've got it setting the right way. Okay, need to make my indention. And get it, kind of eyeball it, and get it just as close as you possibly can, okay? That makes all the difference. Okay, kind of twist it back and forth again, back and forth, until you've made your hole. And there's your hole, right there. Now, I'm going to get my smooth pliers again, and I'm going to press down on that, okay, because I want it to be smooth. All right, like that. Now I want to put the cross on there. So let's go ahead. And again, using my smooth pliers, not the rough ones, but the smooth ones. And again, on the earring, I'm going to get this loop, and I've turned it back this way. So what I want to do is put the cross on first, then I'll go ahead and put my copper piece on. I feel like I'm doing it backwards, guys. This is a fun thing to do, though. And it's extra income. Or if you just want to just do this to make gifts, that's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and put that back and take a look. Oh, let's go ahead and kind of bend that just a little bit this way, because you want it to lay flat. And look at that. You've made a pretty pair of cross earrings. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. They are absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Now let's just say, well, I think I'd like to have it hammered. Easy sneezy. All you got to do is just move this back. And maybe you just want to hammer it halfway. You can do that. Turn it around. And just now, when you're hammering, you need to get the hammer and just kind of go around like that. Okay. So you're just making just little abstract pretty places. And again, you get that hammered look. The hammered look is always going to be in style. Okay, and I'm just going to do it part of the way up. I'm not going to do it all the way. And that makes another pretty look. Okay, I'm going to the back because that always kind of straightens it out. Then I'm turning it over. Okay, what came out. Let's go ahead and put it back in again. And that's another thing you can do instead of those little shortcuts like I was telling you about. Again, I'm going to open that back out, and I want to put this back in. See how simple that is? And I'm going to tell you, it cost way less than $1 to make this because I buy everything on sale. You know how I am. And the scrap, the copper is just some found metal. Yeah, I just found that somewhere. And so that's really basically how it works. Okay, now let's see. There we go. But anyway, that's the way it looks. I just think it's really cute because everybody likes crosses, right? All right, now let's say I wanted to put something on the bottom. Okay, I have these, and those are little head pins. And this is a really pretty piece right here. That's a real pretty jade piece. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's jade, and that is gorgeous. I'm going to show you what you can do. You can put it down the bottom of this just to add either a little extra length, or you just want to just have a little extra on it. Maybe your best friend loves jade jewelry. Okay, all you got to do, I hope you can see what I'm doing. See, these make little round circles. So I'm going to go just a bit up like this, and I'm going to turn it over. Okay, like that. All I would have to do is snip. And I do have some cutters, but I'll go ahead and use these for right now. It's not going to hurt a thing. You want the loop to be big enough to go around. So I don't know if you can see with these cutters. Now you don't have to have anything near this big. I have smaller ones, but all you have to do is just kind of snip it like that. And yes, save that one too, because you can always use that for something else. Okay, now let's go ahead and get my little earring looper thingies, and see, I've made this little part right here. Now what I'm going to do is go to the fattest part of the back. So if you wanted to make smaller holes, you would use this part, and then it'll get bigger as you go down. So, or not holes, but loops. Here I go. I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to kind of leave it open because what I'm going to do, remember the first one I made right here? I'm going to put that pretty jade bead right here on the bottom of this. I think that would be all kinds of pretty. So here we go again. I'm going to make some more holes, make a hole. And I'll go down here and just kind of eyeball it. You don't have to worry about being absolutely perfect. But now the more perfect you are, the better it's going to dangle, okay? All right. Here I go. I'm making a hole again. I'm going to twist it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I've made a hole in here. Okay. I may have made it by now. Nope. Okay. We're going ahead and adjust this again. There we go. You have to adjust this a lot. Again, I've got a drill press I usually use all this stuff on, but not everybody wants a big old drill press in their house. I've got the workshop, so I've got the room for it. Okay. There we go. We'll just make a little hole right there. Alrighty. I don't think I've made the hole yet. Oh, it keeps slipping out. I didn't do it far enough, I see. Okay, let's go ahead and just scoot that up a bit and scoot this back. There we go. That's all all I needed to do. And see it adjust, which is kind of neat. And that way you don't have to have a whole bunch of tools if you don't have room for it. Some people just start out in the basement of their house or in a spare bedroom, and that's what I did. I started out in a spare bedroom, and then it just kind of, the business kind of grew. And so now I've got a workshop, which is really neat because actually what happened is Phil said, every single room of the house is turned into your workshop. And it did. Alright, let's go ahead and put it back on there. Alrighty. And you can use tools for that, but I just usually just use my fingers. Okay, now let's try it again. Okay, I felt it that time. Alright, so let's go ahead and twist it. And remember, every time you do something like this, you are work hardening it, okay? You're going to make it where it's never going to move. And also there are little jewelry tools that you can use. If you'd like to have it to have a little curve to it, you can do that too. Okay. There we go. Now then, all I've got to do at this point is just put this inside the hole, and then I've got an earring. Just like that. And it's got a really pretty jade piece on the bottom of it. Okay, I'm going to quit right here because I've got one more thing I'm going to show you that you can do. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. But anyway, that's a really pretty piece. Okay, now let's go ahead and angle the camera back up again. Alright, I hope you can see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to use this tool. Where's it at? There it is, right in front of me, right there. So I'm going to show you how to, Phil might want to watch greenly. So I'm going to use this tool right here, and this is just with some simple copper wire. Now I like to use 18 gauge wire, okay? And I'm going to show you how to make a real pretty pair of earrings of this. Remarkable. Okay, it's really pretty. Now when you cut your wire pieces, make sure you cut the wire pieces together, okay? So that way you've got, or cut them at the same time before you start working on the wire. I don't know how many pairs of these things I've made. And this costs, I don't know, $5 or something, and you get 25 feet of wire. So imagine how many earrings you can make with this. You can make really pretty necklaces, you know, by putting the loops together. That's pretty too. Oh, I gotta hurry up. I've only got about a minute and a half. So I'll show you real quick. Okay. Now, I'm going to, at the same time, okay, they don't have to be the same, but they're really pretty that way. So what I'm going to do at the same time, I'm going to use at the very end, because this is going to make the bigger loops. I'm just going to do this number, okay? If you can see what I'm doing right there. I'm going ahead and turn it around this way. Now I'm going to take it out, okay? And that would be pretty within itself. That would be a pretty pair of earrings. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go right here at this end, and I'm going to make another loop, like so. I'm hurrying. Alright, I'm going to go back in again, make another loop. You can make as many loops as your heart content, as many as you want to make. I've got about half a minute before I have to go. Okay, I'm going back in again, make another loop. Here we go. Just make sure they're side by side, okay? Okay guys, I gotta let you go. So what I'll do on the very next segment, I'll finish this up, and then you can see what these earrings turn into. They're gonna be awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You've said your prayers, now take a stand, get up off your knees. You've told me about that mountain, now tell that mountain about me. Don't tell me about that mountain.
Hi everybody. everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. You can find us on local television. This is in North Alabama, channel 182 on Charter Communications. If you want to see us worldwide, you can do that too. We're found on Abundant TV, which is also on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much. We just have a variety of different shows, and I just wanted to show you a few jewelry techniques because you guys have seen me shop at Shepherd's Cove. And when I go to Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, I find all kinds of really amazing, neat things. They're located on Highway 431 in Albertville, Alabama. But wherever you are listening, I'm sure there's another awesome thrift store around, has as many good items as this store has. So on the last segment, this is part 2. So on the last segment, we were making items out of copper, and some of this was found metal, and so I want to go ahead and finish up some of those projects because we ran out of time, and so I'm going to do my best to make sure that this happens within the right time frame. Okay, now the first thing we were working at was these earrings right here, and I'll try to get just a little bit closer so maybe you can see. I wonder if I put it on this little stand right here, maybe you can see it just a little bit better. Let's put it in there. Okay, there we go. Maybe you can see, you're going to see lint and stuff all over the place too. But anyway, this is a pair of the copper earrings, and we did hammer those, and I went on ahead and added a cross. So I hope you're going to be able to see that. Now I'm going to finish the other one so you can see what I did. And just to get these things, let's go ahead and put it right here. And then maybe you can see this one as I'm making the other pair. Now, you need to have a little bit of a curve to these earrings. Okay, you can see the curve. Well, let me just show you this way. Okay, so that's pretty flat right there, if you can see that. I'll put it against the black, maybe it'll show up a little bit better. So there's a bit of a, you know, it's really flat. So what I want to do is make a curve, and you can see where I did the hammer part, and I did it kind of a little, about 3/4 of an inch is not hammered, just like with this one right here. And remember, this is your design, okay? So you can make it any way you want to make it. Just use your creativity to do that. Now, I have these pliers right here, and these are called a bending tool, which works for all of your metal projects, and they're less than 10 bucks, and you can find them online. You can go to I don't think there's a local place in this area where you'd be able to find them, unless maybe you went to Hobby Lobby. You might find them there. And this is a bending tool that you can also get it on eBay. You can go to Amazon. You get different places online. There's a few jewelry supplies online as well. Okay, so I went on ahead and made a little curve. So as you can see right there, it is curved now where it was straight. Okay, I need to do the same thing with the cross. Now there's a flatter area. You need to decide which part you want to be curved. So let's go ahead and curve this side. I'm holding this onto the bending tool like this. And I want to get this just in the middle as much as possible. Now what I like to do is turn it around, and let's bend it just a little bit more, okay? And you're going to have a unique pair of earrings. I mean, this is going to be, no one on earth is going to have a pair like you have. Okay, now, what I'd like to do is put it on this one. So let's go ahead and find a earring backing. And I think I probably got some right in here. You always want to keep a whole bunch of stuff handy when you're making jewelry. Okay, we got tools and stuff all over here. They are. I like to use either stainless steel and not just your regular metal, because this is going to go inside your ear. Okay, and you have a lot of folks like me who are sensitive, and so you may have a friend you're making a pair of earrings for their birthday or for Christmas. You know, now's a time to go ahead and start making those Christmas presents. Go ahead and get that started now. Okay, so I'm going to put the cross on first because I want that to overlay. Let's see, wait a minute. Let's get another one because this one doesn't have a little ball on it, and I want it to match. Okay, there's one that has the little ball. See, the little ball is right there. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this back just like that. The cross goes on first, like so. Put your little cross on there. Now I want to put my metal part. Now again, you know, I did go ahead and use my bending tool, so make sure they are both bending the same way. And there it is, okay? Now again, when you're working with these loops and you've got your tool, make sure that when you're making these little, when you're twisting it back, make sure you don't pull it out this way. You need to go side by side, okay? Because I promise I've tried. You'll never get it to fit the right way again. Okay, so I'm also going to get this tool, and I want to make sure it's in there really good. So I'm going to go in there as much as I possibly can, and let's make that just like that. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Okay, so there's the other pair. Okay, so you can see that I'm making a hole in this. Okay, so there's your pair of earrings. I hope you can see those. And again, it's got that little hammered look to it. Okay, now so that one we started on the last show. Now I want to go ahead and finish these earrings. Again, I'm going to leave these straight. I'm not going to use the bending tool on these. You could, and they would be a beautiful pair of earrings. I've changed my mind. It's a woman's prerogative. I'm going to change my mind. So let me show you how same technique. You put this in the bending tool, bend it, just like so, and you got a little bit of a curve. Now, when you're working with metals, and even when you're using the bending tool, you're still work hardening this jewelry piece, okay? It is made of copper, and copper's good for you, by the way. There are so many benefits to wearing copper. Okay, now this one, you know, I made this is a little beautiful jade piece I found earlier, and I love that jade ball. Okay, so again, I'm going to get my tool, and I'm going to bend sideways with that loop I made. Okay, let's go ahead and put it right here in this little hole that we used. Remember, we used the hole by using this tool. Right here, okay. Now, after you've work hardened this, it's going to be hard to do, so you need to go ahead and make the hole before you work harden it. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and put that in right there, and I want to get my trusty pliers, and I'm going to go ahead and twist it just like that. I'm watching my time now. I'm not going to go over. I respect your time, and I really appreciate you watching us every day. Monday through Friday. Okay, there it is, right there. I just love jade. Jade is just such a beautiful, beautiful piece of jewelry. Okay, now let's go ahead, and I've done this one because you want them to match. They're the same size. Oh, you know something I didn't do? I can feel that sharpened edge right there. When you're working with metals, make sure, again, going the same way, okay? And make sure that you're going ahead, and this is work hardening the metal as well. And I'm going to take care of those ends. I don't want any sharp edges. Now you're kind of taking care of those edges anyway, you know, when you hammer it and make those really pretty hammered marks on it. But I just don't want any problems. I don't want anybody, you know, scratching their skin. And I just, you know, I don't want you snagging your sweater. You know, it would be easy to snag a sweater doing this, I'm telling you. Okay, now, let's go on ahead, and we're going to put this earring on this one, okay? Just let the style be you. The name of my business, and I've done this since I was I used to make love beads back in the day in the 1970s. The 60s and 70s. So I've been making jewelry since I was about 14. And so you figure the math. I'm 63 now. So it's been a long time. And I've just always enjoyed it. And I don't have a retail store. I don't want one. And I'm perfectly happy selling to my friends. And sometimes I'll just make little videos and put those out there as well. So there we go. Another pair of unique earrings. So all I did is I just followed this up. Let's go ahead and put those in here. I'm making little holes on this, but that's not going to matter. This is just an old one I had a long time ago anyway, so I think what I'll do, did I have, and I think I must have put it up. Let's go ahead. I'm going to puncture a hole here, and I'm going to puncture another hole right here. And we'll be able to display all those earrings. Of course, we've got another pair we're going to make, and then you and I are going to make a bracelet off of something I found at Shepherd's Cove. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to make a bracelet out of a necklace. It's something that was in style maybe in the 1980s, but we're going to update it and make a pretty bracelet. Okay, there's your other pair of earrings. See how fast that was? There you go. All right, now, and you remember we were ending the show and I had started working with some copper wire. Now this is a 14 gauge wire. No, I'm sorry, it's an 18 gauge wire, 25 feet. I know it costs less than $10. I'm going to say it's probably somewhere around $6.99, $7, something like that. And there is 25 feet on here, so you could just about imagine how many pair of earrings that you can make, and you'll make a nice profit, okay, because copper's not too expensive right now. Okay, so I went on ahead and finished this one. And now remember, when you're making something like this, let's go ahead and let's make a couple more holes, and then you'll be able to see the earring. I'm going ahead right there and maybe right there. Okay, let's just stick it right there. If I can see where I made it, I may have to make a couple more holes. I think I'll just try to make it this way. There we go. Alright, so you can see the little squiggly right there. Okay, that's made out of that copper wire. Again, that's the 18 gauge wire. And I just found this at, I think it was at Lowe's, probably where I got that. And I like to mix metals too. As you can see, I did that on this pair of earrings and on that pair of earrings. I just think it sticks out a little bit more. When you put that silver cross and put that over on the copper, it's just beautiful. I mean, it just makes a beautiful accent. Okay, let's see. I want you to be able to see this. What I'm going to do is, we'll just put them right here. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But anyway, I'll hold that up for you in just a minute. Now, let's go on ahead and finish the other earrings. Okay, so we got my little squiggly, and now what we're going to do is use this tool right here. And on this tool, you're going to be able to see how I'm going to make the little round circle. And that little round circle, see what I'm doing? I'm using the fat end. Now there's the skinny end that would make little tiny circles. And then your fat end right here, that's going to make some bigger circles. I want it to be a pretty big circle. Okay, and you may have to cut down just a little bit, but you want it to be perfectly round. I don't know if you can see that black right there. Perfectly round. And let's go ahead and put the other earring. Let me just pull one out of this batch. Okay, so I'm going to put it right there. And copper going against your skin is just, it has amazing properties. Alright, there we go. Alright. Less than an hour, and this is me talking to you. You can really get on the roll and start making a bunch of these, but less than an hour, because on the previous show is where I started making these earrings. And you can kind of bend it like this just a little bit, you know, just work with it. And so that just makes a pretty pair of earrings. Look at those. So let's go ahead and put these in here. Let's go ahead and make it easy. Why am I doing it the hard way, huh? You're going to say, Donna, why are you doing everything the hard way? Alrighty, so there you go. Now, 3 pair of earrings. And you can sell these easy for $20 a pair if you wanted to. And, you know, if you want to do a volume sale, you could do, say, $20 or maybe 2 pair for $35, say $5 to do that. But now remember, don't give your stuff away, because first of all, you're paying for materials and your time is worth something. Most certainly is. So anyway, there's 3 pair of really pretty, sparkly earrings made out of copper. Okay, now I wanted to show you something else, and I believe we're going to have time for this. Okay, so I found this really cute, I mean, beautiful, beautiful necklace. Not quite in style anymore. I think it's pretty. I would wear it. But I bought this for, I think it was like $2. And I can use all kinds of, I could use all parts of this on different things. I could go ahead and put this, make another bracelet out of this. All I would need is just a couple of, let's put it in like this, you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is kind of a, it's not hemp, but it's some kind of a wiring right here. It's kind of like a hemp, not wire, but cord. It's kind of a hemp cord. And they can make a pretty anklet with that. I think that'd make a gorgeous anklet right there. And so what you would do, there are little crimps that you can buy, and you would put them inside there. And then what you would do is go ahead and put a couple of clasps on it and just have it sized for an anklet. I just think it would be pretty. And with your flip-flops, you know, I just think it'd be gorgeous. All right, now, it was all on this. Okay, so let me go ahead and take this part off. And it's fun. You can just dissect stuff and just make all kinds of pretty, pretty gorgeous things. All right, so let's go ahead and take that part off, and we're going to make an anklet out of this some other time. Okay, or you can just keep it and wear it like that and just pull it over your head and wear this a really pretty necklace. Let's just put him right here. Okay, I don't want to get in the way of earrings. Okie dokie. Now let's go ahead and tell you what I was talking about. If you don't want to wear this as a necklace, and I think it would make a pretty necklace, you could take this apart and you could get some wire. And I usually get the 7 round wire because it's more flexible than just having a wire. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's just pretend I'm going to do something with this wire. Okay, now remember this, the size of the wires, okay? So normally the higher the number is, the bigger it is. That's not the way it is with wiring. Okay, so it's actually thinner the bigger the number. So in other words, I've got 14, I'm sorry, I keep calling it 14, it's 18 gauge. This is 18 gauge wire. Now, I can work hard than that, and I can turn that into anything, okay? And the more I bend it, that's what you don't want to bend it as much as you can possibly get by with. But the more you bend it, the more, you know, the harder it's going to get, because again, you're work hardening this. Okay, so let's pretend I wanted to maybe cut part of this off and then just make put this through the wire. You want to go with a wire that says that it's like 7 wires put together, because it's going to be much more flexible than this. I don't like doing it this way because, see, it's just going to stand. It's not going to bend much, and it's very uncomfortable to wear. Okay, and it's kind of like what I did with this necklace is what I'm talking about. Okay, so I could actually get chain and make it longer, or I could get chain and I could put some beads on the side of it, like, okay, like this is a bracelet I got one time at Shepherd's Cove, and I could add different color beads to it, you know, something kind of like that. And there's just millions of possibilities. I'm talking millions of possibilities. All right, but I want to make a bracelet out of it. So this is what I'm going to do. All right, now you got to get kind of an idea. The normal wrist size is going to be about 7 inches. Now let me tell you about cutting something like this. Okay, first of all, I would cut it too big because it's easy to go back and make it smaller. To make it bigger, you're going to have to start almost all over again, and then you're going to have to get really creative and try to figure out how to put those links back together without it looking like you've done that. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is take this part off. Okay, so I'm going to take the clasp off. And so let me get my pliers. Now remember, on the last show I told you guys about these pliers right here have little ridges right here. So what that's going to do, I clamp down really hard on the circles, and it's going to make a little indentation. I want the smooth pliers. like that right there, okay? So let's go ahead. Now these come in handy. They can be a grip and they're really good. So, but I'm using my smooth ones, okay? All right, let's go ahead and take the clasp off. And again, with a circle, you want to go sideways, okay? Don't pull it back like that, because if you do, you're just never going to get it back together again. Believe me, I've tried to save money by doing that, and it's just not worth the time. And you know me, if I can save a dime anyway, I'm going to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and take it off. Okay, there's that part, and don't lose it, okay? Then, what I'm going to do, you're just going to see how crazy easy this is. I need to also keep this part right here because it's a bigger circle and it's going to match the clasp. So I'm taking it off like that. Okay, now let me save that. Okay, and I'm actually going to take that off, and I can use that for something else. Those are really neat extenders. You know, if you buy a box of extenders, how much they are, it's ridiculous. So save everything. And I've got little bags that I put stuff in. Like I have a bag that's just nothing of extenders I've taken off and made bracelets out of a necklace. That's all it is. Okay, now I want to make a pretty bracelet. Okay, so let's just kind of play with it. And I like my bracelets kind of loose. And see how this sticks out? I'm going to try to get the bending tool and see what that does as well. Okay, let's just cut it off. I'm going to use my handy dandy cutter right here. I'm thinking this was somewhere around $8 at the hardware store. Okay, there we go. I've cut that off. Now I want it to be the same size as the other one, okay? So let's go ahead. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can just kind of eyeball it, okay, and get the right size. Again, that's going to be my bracelet. And there we go. And this is just a really pretty color. I love the way those circles look. All right, I'm looking at the time. I'm not going to do like I always do and make it and extend it. Okay. There we go. All right. See that? Now, what are we going to do? Okay, we're going to go on ahead. Oh, let's see if we can bend it. Now, you got to be really careful with something like this because I could just ruin the whole thing if I'm not really, really careful. You know, something else you could do? You could make earrings. You could take this part off and maybe just let it be kind of like a dangly kind of an earring, and that would be pretty too. I think that'd be gorgeous. All right, now, I'm not so concerned about the middle one. I think it's going to be really good. But what I want to do is bend the two on the edges. Let's see what happens. I hope I don't ruin it. Yeah, it's not going to let me bend that. Wait a minute, wait. Maybe I can do it this way. Be really careful. It worked. You just want it to bend just a little bit on the ends because see, I want it to be curved like that. Okay, let's go ahead and put it right here and bend it just a second. That did it. Okay. Oh, I love the way that fits. It's much, much better. All right, now let's go ahead and let's get my original clasp, which I have. This is what you call a lobster clasp right here. That's a lobster clasp. There are different kinds. Now, the magnetic ones are super nice. I really like those. But you've got to keep those magnets clean because after time, your body oil is going to get on it. And what's going to happen is it's not going to stay fixed. So be super careful with that, okay? All right, now, this is, and I'm keeping up with what time it is. Okay, and I'll get the little circle. This is my little original circle. And I'm going to put it right here in the end that I cut off. And I'm putting my lobster clasp. Look how super easy that is. Now you got to practice, okay? So you might want to work on, just get a bunch of circles. And you can buy them again online. You can buy them at a Hobby Lobby type or Michael's, something like that. All right, now I've got to put the other circle on here, okay, because this is just not going to be big enough. It's going to be a pain, especially if you're trying to put it on by yourself. And so, I mean, it'll go on there, but it's just not going to be as easy. So I want the bigger circle that was originally on it when it was a necklace. See what you can do? You can get, and if you wanted to resell this, even if you sold it for only $10, you've only got a couple dollars in it. Plus you have all this other stuff. You can make other things with it as well. Okay, I used to have fingernails a long time ago, but working out in the garden and working with metals, you tend to not have them. And then I used to get my nails done with acrylics, and that's just too much of the good stuff. Alright, so there we go. Let's put them in there. Alright. And I've got my trusty little pliers. Now remember, we're using the pliers that don't have the ridges on the end. We want it to be smooth. I do not want to put any crimps or anything in that. Okay. I think I guessed it. Look at there. I've got a bracelet now. Made out of a necklace I got for a couple of dollars. I don't even know if it was $2. I think it was probably less than that. And so here we go. I got a really pretty bracelet. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? It's really pretty. Let's put it right here so you can kind of get a good idea of what it looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? I just think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, what's left over from this necklace? Okay, we've got, now I've got a little time. We can't make anything. I don't have time. We've only got about less than 2 minutes left on this show. Now I can just wear it like that. I could also, and see, this looks like this is macrame right here. But what I can do is I can make a bracelet out of it. I can keep it like this, like a necklace. I could make an anklet. I'm just thinking it would make an awesome anklet. Don't you? It's so pretty around your ankle. And then again, it would be pretty as a bracelet as well. So all I would have to do, you got to have some little crimping tools to do this with. And you can get, it's kind of like a little clasp that would hold these 3 cords together. Now you need to get, they're all different sizes. Make sure you get the small one, okay? That would look really good. Then it's going to have a little circle coming out of the end of it. And that circle coming out of the end of it, you would put a clasp on it. Again, you could put the magnetic clasp. That way it's easy to get in and on and off. Just got a few seconds left. So to clean the magnets, if you want to put a magnet, especially if you don't have time to, you know, you're by yourself, your husband left or whatever, and you really don't have time to put it together yourself, get a magnet. But now you need to use rubbing alcohol for this magnet, okay? And the rubbing alcohol is going to clean it, both surfaces, and then it'll dry really fast too. But now I also like to get my cloth and go ahead and dry that off. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I know you've been doing anything else, but you're watching me messing around in here in the kitchen. And now I have a workshop, but I like messing around here in the kitchen as well. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a super duper awesome blessed day today. And I hope that we're friends forever, okay? So you stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to hatch chickens. Yeah, out of eggs. We're going to do that next time. You take care.
Mountain above me. Tell that mountain about me.